Hello and welcome to Tutorials. I'm Tam and today we shall be making this lovely CSS and HTML only drop down menu. This is really easy to make and it shouldn't take too long for me to teach you, so let's get straight into it. Before I start, I must add a few things. First, I'm using Zen Coding, which is a free add-on for most text editors, or most big ones like I know Dreamweaver works, and TextMate I think has it as well. And you can get that by googling Zen Coding in Google, and it allows you to do this. So you can write shorthand and then and it will do it for you and stuff like that, but I'm not covering that. That's just to let you know how I can type so quickly. So today I'm going to show you how to make that awesome menu I just showed you how to make, and that menu is actually made for a whole load of lists and sublists to make our main menu and submenus. So first we want to write those sublists and sublists. So how do you make a list and a sublist? Well, you start off with our unordered list tag, and underneath that you'll have all our list tags, and then inside those list tags we'll have a anchor tag. So we get our unordered list, our list item, and our anchor tag. Now these anchor tags will be linked to the pages obviously, but for the sake of this tutorial we haven't got any other pages, so we're just going to set them to hash, which means not go anywhere. And then we'll set these to home, about, and folio, just quickly. And now to make a sublist, you go inside our list item, and you should normally do this right before the closing tag of our list item and right after anything else, for example in this case an anchor tag. And then we'll go inside there and create another list with list items and anchor tags and so on, and you can keep doing that as many times as you want, just to prove how versatile this drop down menu really is, because you can just keep going down and down and down until you run out of room, and even then keep going. But to save time, I'm not obviously going to go through and create a whole massive long list, so I'm just going to quickly paste in our lovely list. Now this might look confusing, but actually it's really simple. We have our main 5, which are these 3 right here, and these 2, and then links has a sublist, as you can see here. We have our sublist, and then portfolio also has a sublist, which is this one, and then people has a sublist, which is this one, and then action shots also has a sublist, which is that one. Excuse me. And finally outside has a sublist, which is that one. This looks like that. Not the nicest menu I've ever seen, but what's really good is that's all the HTML coding we have to do. That is absolutely it for our menu's HTML coding. The rest of this, all this fanciness with the hovering and the drop downs and all that, is done purely in CSS, which is really nice. So let's start with our style, and I spelled style completely wrong. There we go. Lovely. Okay, so first we want to get rid of all the padding and stuff which is causing these indents and the padding of the page and everything. To do that we're going to use a little star symbol to get rid of all that. So we're going to get padding to 0 for everything and margin to 0 for everything. And as you can see, all that's gone, which is good because that's what we want. Next we're going to put some do some stuff to the body. Now as you can see here we've got some padding around the edge. Normally you would take a wrapping div around your whole website and then do any padding and stuff you want to add to that, but for the sake of time I'm just going to add it straight to the body. So we're going to select the body, which is that, remember, and then we're going to set padding to 5 pixels, and by doing that we just give it a little push away from the edge, which is just a bit nicer to look at. And I'm also going to set the font family to Helvetica, Arial, and forming back to sans serif. I like to have Arial first because it looks nicer, and then we're going well. Okay, now I'm going to select our list item, our unordered list, and set list style to none. Easy. So that then gets rid of what you can't see, which, because it's off the page, list the little bullet points that are there basically. Now I'm going to select each list item, set it to float left, which how we get it floating in this sort of horizontal line. Yeah, horizontal line. And already it doesn't look very good, because we've still shown all our submenus. But before we get to hiding them, we're going to do a couple more things, which is padding to the right of 1 pixel. And although you can't really see it, do you see them push that way a little bit? There's a little 1 pixel gap between every single list item, which helps us create that little line of padding, that 1 pixel line there. And finally we're going to set position to relative. By doing this, this helps, although it doesn't visually do anything immediately, it will make our lives incredibly just easier when it comes to creating our drop downs and positioning them. Okay, now we're going to go and style our anchor tags, which are what these colours and stuff you're seeing is, or whatever. So I'm going to select all the list items anchor tags. Normally, because I'm using pulling the list item straight away, normally instead of having our list item you would have give the list item an ID and then select that ID in front of everything, but just for the sake of time I'm not doing that. Okay, so now we're going to set display, not direction, display to something very interesting, table cell. Now this will enable us to center our text both horizontally and vertically. Most importantly vertically, because you can do it horizontally anyway. And it also allows us to do width, height and that sort of thing. This won't work, as I'm not sure if I mentioned it first, but I might have done. I can't remember, I forget these things. But anyway, this won't work in IE7 or below, I think. IE8 and any other decent web browser, it's fine. But for this tutorial, we're aiming solely at decent browsers and IE8. So, moving on, we should set vertical alignment to middle, which will align the text vertically in the middle. Set the width of these to, not widows, width. There we go. To 100 pixels, and the height to 50 pixels, and then text align to center, background color to #69C, and font color to white. Wow. And finally text decoration to none. Oops. And if we refresh this page, there, we've styled all our anchor tags. Next we want to do the hover event styling, which is, you see, all it does is change the background colour. So to do that we're going to get the list and then the anchor tag, and when the anchor tag is hovered we're going to set background to a colour of 09C. Just like that. So now if we hover over these, they change colour. But they're not looking very nice, let's be honest. So really what we want to do right now, before we do anything else, is get rid of those submenus. To do that, we just select our list item, and then select our list item's first child list unordered list thing. So for this list item, it will be this unordered list. For this one, this unordered list, oops, and so on and so forth. And then we're going to set display to none, and by doing that we hide all our sublists so we get a nice simple menu. But wait, we can't see any of our drop downs anymore. So to fix that we're going to do a few things before we can actually see anything, just to position our menus nicely. So first we're going to set the position to absolute. This will allow us to position our drop downs anywhere. And by saying it's absolute and having that parent tag list item of relative, we're allowed to position it anywhere inside this list item. If we didn't set that to relative, it would automatically jump to the next one, which in our case is the full page. So we are going to set the left offset to 0, which will mean it's always pushed straight up against this side and not out on this corner or anything stupid like that. And then we're going to set top to 100%. Now it gets that 100% from the height of its parent tag, in this case the height of this, which is 50 pixels. So when we hover over it and set our hover state for this to be visible, it will show and it will be right down here. That's good. So now we can go to list item, and whenever a list item is hovered, we select that sublist and set display to what direction. So I've got the HTML5 add-on for their quick coding. Display to block. So it's adding a lot of extra things. So now if we refresh this, when we hover over one, we get our full list. Now, as I'm sure you've noticed, there's no styling or anything there's no line like there is over here. And when we hover over one of these submenus, they're just pushed down underneath this menu, and that doesn't look very good. So we're going to have to style some of that now, aren't we? To do that, we select our list item, select our sublist, and select our sublist list item, and we set padding to 0 just to be on the safe side, and then padding top to 1 pixel. And by doing that, if we refresh this, you see we have our 1 pixel padding on the top there. But we still have the problem of the sub-menus which go down below our submenu. Again, to fix this, we need to select our sub-menus. So we go list item, list item's first child list, and then the list item of that list, and then the first list of that child list item, listing list items of list items. Okay, so we're going to set the position of the sub list to left 100%, which, as you can see, pushes it directly left 100 pixels. But because previously we set the list items to be down 100 pixels as well, it's right at the bottom left right hand bottom corner. Yeah. So to fix that, we're going to set top to 0. And there we have our drop down menu. Nice and fitting. But there's no line between these two, or these ones, or these ones. So we want to set padding. Shut up, dog! Padding left to 1 pixel, if you can still hear me. And by doing that, there's our 1 pixel line. And we have a really noisy dog in my family. Yay! Okay, but the width is all gone. No! So, to do that, we need to set the width of the list item of these submenus. So we're going to select the list item, select the sublist, select the list item, select the sublist, and then select the sublist list item, and set the width to 100 pixels. Refresh the page, and there is our list drop-down menu done. But wait, something's not right. If we go over to our previous example, you'll see when we hover over something, that list item that we hovered over and the drop downs come on is still coloured to prove that we're hovering it, sort of like a breadcrumb. So we started off with portfolio, then we went to people, then we went to action shots, then we went to outside, then we went to winter. And as you can see, it left the breadcrumb colours. To do that, all we have to do is add one single last line of code. We're going to go list item, hover. So whenever a list item is hovered, you'll select the first child anchor tag. For example, if this list item is hovered, it will select this first anchor tag and then change it to our hover state for our anchor tags, which I'm just going to copy and paste in, just like that. Now, the reason it stays whenever we hover over our sublists is because these sublists are inside this list item. So this sublist is inside this list item, which is in this list, which is in this list item, which is in this list, which is in this list item, which is in this list item. Okay. Finally, and that all just works. It's magic. That's how it works. Magic and fairy dust and fairy liquid. And that, my friends, is how you make a HTML and CSS beautiful drop down menu.